Hello and welcome to my quick sneaky session of evening Rust. I decided to have a bit of time, so I tune in, and I see Jasper's already here. He didn't like my few seconds comment, I guess, so I ran out of seconds early. I just got to adjust this window. It's slightly off. I forgot to do that correctly first of all. Good enough. Jasper's there. Hello, Ion Codes. I didn't announce the session, but we're going to do it anyways. I was just going to check. I don't know what I want to do yet. I don't think I'm going to do a competition, but I wanted to play with those golf ones because we're getting points for it. Hello, Oxygen Deprived. I'm just going to do a couple things. There's a few where we get golf points on coding game. So anybody new who's watching and who's tuned in, watch the video. I know most of you guys are already here. We're doing Rust coding on coding game on this site. And we're just doing it to learn some Rust, to practice, get points, and for the glory of, I'm not sure yet. We're just sort of doing it. To get the show started, we're just going to run a clash of code here. These are the competitions, which I see Jasper's waiting for. I see Jasper, he's very happy to wait for us here. And the golf ones, I've actually been not last in the golf ones as long as I can solve them. The last reverse engineering one I had, that's where they give you tests and you just figure out what the code is, was surprisingly easy. And there was also a fast one where I did it like 30 seconds, but the guy won anyways. He had like 18 seconds. I don't even know how the guy read that fast. In the meantime, let's just go throw some ads up, because we love the ads. Everybody loves the ads for us, don't they? We'll leave it off the German one this side, because I think it's more like spamming them, because they don't even have that much text on them. So we just take a generic message. Why is Oxygen Deprived curious as to Rust? Well, the reason why I'm choosing Rust is because, well, I don't know Rust. I wasn't actually motivated to do any of these types of sites with the language I know. And the languages I already knew were C, C++, Java, C#, Python. I'm sure there's some other ones I'm forgetting. And so I thought I'd take something new. And I mainly work on my own language now called Leaf. And Rust has a few features I found interesting which I wanted to learn. It also helped that my colleagues were actually, he has a show on Rust and he's doing virtual machines and stuff on it, or actually emulators. I don't know if there's a strong difference. And so Rust seemed like an okay choice. I don't have any particular preference for the language, but like I said, it's the one I don't know. And so I wouldn't likely do any of these sites with another language. Like I do enough C++. Yeah, there are some things similar to Leaf. I think there's a lot of things different, but I think that's part of the reason why I'm doing this is because I do have Leaf. And when a language has new concepts like Rust's borrowing system, like some of the stuff Rust has, it makes sense for me to figure this out, because I find a lot of the new languages that come out, they don't do that. We have a lot of niche languages showing up where they're just kind of like rehashes of the same stuff, and it's just like, what new do you bring to the table? What's new here? That was kind of my opinion of C#. Like C# doesn't have anything new. I guess I had to focus on this contest, but if you have questions, we can ask again a bit later. But I'm going to see what we have here. Lowest code site. So great. So we have golf. You must determine who achieved the highest score in the round. The scores that may be given as follows: strike, spare. The scores 1 to 9, miss. That's a bit weird. That's not very clear at all. End players in the game, end lines, the player's name, the score the player achieved in the first round, the score the player achieved in the second round, the name of the player who won the game. There will always be only one winner. You can watch them. Well, great window scroll. You can watch them from the start. Perfect. I'm not even sure what this means, this game. So there's a 3, whatever that means. Scores. Does this assume I have bowling knowledge? This is like bowling scoring or something like that. So Josh wins. That's a miss and a miss. So bowling, yeah. Like this description is very bad. I think I know how the scoring works, but I'm just going to assume these are 10 and they don't carry over. I don't actually know. We're going to find out. Usually in bowling, the X carries over to the next 2 balls, spare carries over to the next 1 ball, and the other scores are this, and we're just going to have to find out what this actually wins. We're going to have a hard time solving this in 15 minutes, let alone golfing this, so to hell with that. So we're going to have as a let mut. There's only 2 players, so I'm going to do this the rough way. No, I'll do 2 scores, and I don't remember how they do this. This is a vec of 0i32, and there'll be 2 of these because there's 2 players. Or no, how many players in the game? N. There's N players. And there's also going to be a last. We need to have a last thing of all of them, what they had last. I'm assuming that there is a... what is character type? Assuming that the things carry over. I'm going to try and do it first without the points carrying over. And then we'll see if that's actually correct. The score the player achieved in the second part of the round. Wow, this is like super confusing. Highest score in the round, input -2. Is it just like 1 round? The player's name. There's only 2 players? There's 3 players. Wonderful. I don't even think we need to have these extra last bits. Wow, this is just weird and wacky. We don't need this last one. So let's just, I don't know about this one here. So spare, yeah, okay, I'm going to assume this is correct. Okay, let's just do it this way first. Let SC equals match P1. And you know what? I have no idea how to match a range. So excuse me when I do something utterly awful. This is going to be bad for golf. Actually, no, let's do it this way. I'm going to do it the not awful way. X is going to be, just say 10. Spare is going to be 10, and this is going to be very hard because it's very ambiguous. And dash is going to be 0, which is going to be a dash. And somebody solved it already. I have a feeling ion codes. Did you give up or did you actually solve it? And everything else is going to be S. X is going to be X as I32 minus 0 as I32. So that's the initial score, and score 1. I'm just going to do score 2. I'm just going to duplicate this now. This is pretty bad. Because I'm not really clear on what they're asking. So I have the 2 codes, and we score 1, score 2, and which score is highest to the scores. Scores n equals score 1 plus score 2. This is my best guess as to how we're playing the game. And then I have to find the max index of the scores. So let best score equal score 0. I'll assume there's never 0 players. Let best index equals 0. And okay, so best index is 0. Feel free to mute the stream. I just talk to myself anyways. I can't read the chat. Alright, I guess I did read the chat. And for I in 0 dot n is use size. And we're going to say, actually we start at 1. If scores I greater than best score. I know there's a max function, but I don't have time to look this up. This is very challenging sometimes. Best score equals scores I. Best index equals I. And I guess I need the names of the players. No, I don't need to. Yeah, mut names equal. Let's just say this is vec string equals vec new. Jeez, this is a rough one for golf. I'm gonna have a hard time doing anything here. Names dot push a. Best index equals I. Index is a. And then we just do print line names best index and hope for the best. I mean, this is rough. Okay, where is this? It's down here. This was hoping for one of these things. This duplication here is awful if we got it wrong. Unexpected use size found I32. Where's this n? We'll just parse this as use size. What did I find? Expected type found char. Okay, so we have to match a string. I don't know why. It's silly that we have a string. Actually, we need to have a toString. Let's just call it 0, 0. Dot. Yeah, I don't think we have to unwrap that. Where is this? Wow, this text window makes it hard. 34. Bring that chars dot first dot unwrap. No method called first. Come on. First nth 0. Is that the one that works? Okay, there's nth 0. There's all sorts of opportunities to reduce this, but I'm just going to struggle to finish the damn thing. Index out of bounds. Length is 2, but the index is 2. Where's this? This is line 49. Score n. This is score I. Expected Josh found Jack. Well, let's look at those test cases. What do they have here? Test 2 has a spare 3-0. What did I get? I found Josh and we expected Jack. Josh expected Jack 2 slash. What is slash 10? Found Jack. Okay, so why are my points going wrong here? Character 1 is 10, so we had a slash. Why on earth did I not get 10 here? Oh, crap. We're just going to go A, SC1, SC2. Okay, exactly. Thanks. Thanks. Alright, so it looks like they're just counting spares and strikes as just 10 points. So how can we short 5 minutes, man? This is going to be tough on me. So how do we do this? We can do this 5 minutes. I can reduce a lot of this right here. And 0.2 1 plus I. I'm going to trim that off. This will be J. This trims it a bit. I'm not going to make this too golfy because scores I plus equal match P1. Because it's not 0. If you can quickly get me the ASCII code for 0, I'll stick it in there. It's the ASCII code I need. If I have the ASCII code, I'll stick it in. Okay, this shortens it up quite a bit. I just go to ASCII table, and you can probably get it. And we're just going to do the simple shortening first here. I line, input I line, to see if we can get anything reasonable in a shorter period of time. We do il.clear. Yeah, but I don't even think I can reduce the logic, I think. Like, this is such a short time period that I'm going to have a tough time reducing anything here. We don't use print error, obviously. And I'm just going to keep checking this stuff works all the time. Okay, 48. We can tricky check 48 if it's smaller. 48, I32. 48 looks good. What else do we have here? There's a lot of stuff in Rust I know we could do here for this listing and stuff like that. And we can do that. We learned this one too. .into is shorter than string new. This other stuff we realized you just can't get rid of. Do we actually call parse? We do call it once, unfortunately. But we can probably trim it out. These rest are just strings here. We can probably trim out the parsing. We parse input as, let's do il.trim.parse use size .unwrap. Try it again, make sure then. Maybe we don't. We'll find out. Use size. Where is this happening? Why is macro rules failing on me? Oh, there's a P up there from somewhere. Okay, so we can remove the macro rules. This gets more than indentation. 48, we didn't need that. Is there anything we could quickly structurally fix before I just remove all the indentation? I don't think so. Collect, we don't need to do collect, but I don't have time to fix that. I don't have time to fix that. I don't want to push it. I'm just going to remove the indentation. And these other people actually finished 100%, so Jasper's doing better. And there's not much I can do in Rust, though. Oops, no, almost screwed us up. Let's play all the test cases again. So the Ruby code's really big. If I actually had time, I'm willing to bet I could beat the Ruby code. There's no way I could beat that JavaScript code. I have another 33 things I can remove, but that's kind of pointless at this point because we don't have, I don't think anybody else is going to collect. So into should work here as well. This is simple stuff, and this is my last check. If this works, I'm just shit. No, I'm gonna undo that. I don't know why that doesn't work, but we're just gonna leave it. It's too risky now to do anymore. And I'm going to leave the lines. I'm going to remove a few lines, I guess. I'm just going to say I don't like the nervousness of the 40 seconds. This was this one fun? I actually found this one fun. Difficulty? I would say this is too hard for golf. Statement? This is not clear. This was screwed up. I mean, there was no mention of anything there about bowling, about that meaning strike, and it's actually not bowling scoring. And for Rust, I'm quite happy with this. And test case relevancy, it seems good. And using half-assed bowling rules without description. And I say half-assed because the strikes and spares are not valued that way. They're not just simply 10. And there's no way if you didn't know that it would be worth that much. If you've not played the game before, then you're kind of out of luck. Okay. And this is generally, I mean, this is impressive. Jasper, did you happen to know this code before, or how would you do? What on earth is this? My goodness. I don't even know what you're doing. I don't even know what this JavaScript does. He just made a strike worth 99 or something? So score equals x 99, so he just guessed. Score A plus. So you actually kind of, the spare did. I'm surprised that works. Strike is instant win. Well, that makes no sense, and strike is instant win. I gave it 10 points, and I got the same results. So you may not need instant win, but it's definitely not described in the description in any case. You could have just said, yeah, I missed, okay. Yeah, I see what you're doing so well, and it's interesting. Interesting. Did you play this one before, or did you just happen to understand it that fast? All right. In any case, we finished. I mean, which is good. Most people didn't finish, so I'm happy with that, and that was really tight for the time we had. And PO2 can never be an X. Okay. That's just like knowing the results. So I'm happy with what we have, because we finished quickly, and I know I could actually golf that down a lot more. I think I probably could have got it down to here. I could have got it down to the ruby guy, I think, but let's not worry about that. What I wanted to check is we have, in compete, there's a golf section. I don't really want to do another golf one, but there's some cheap points for us here. The temperatures, we have don't panic. Let's do temperatures first. Or actually, was the don't panic one the easy solution? So I check first. Was this the simple one? Same problem as episode 1. And we're going to actually take this one because we already have the code for this. So let's go back to practice and find don't panic. And this just gives us some free points for the games. There's a, where's medium? I think it was medium. 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 And we already solved don't panic. It's over here. Let's check my solution. It's pretty ungolfy. I don't know if we really need to golf it or not, though. And let's go back to compete. Let's stick this somewhere first, just so we don't lose it. Let's go over to compete. And where was I? Was it this? I always lose my place. Don't panic is right here. And we're going to solve it. And we're going to create a new directory for it. So we're going to go over to cd/source coding game. We have all these directories here, and I think it's cargo new bin. Oh, new. What is it? Don't panic. Don't panic golf. Bin v virtual or control, whatever the hell this thing was. None. VCS. Alright, there we go. That was it called. So we have don't panic here. I'm going to use an external editor, and I forgot to turn my proxy off. No point going through Norway for this, although I still prefer it. And I'm going to select the file for this, and go all the way back to source/coding game. Don't panic golf source. We're going to take main RS. Oh, we might as well. We don't have anything there yet, but we're going to take mine anyways. We have already the source code here. And open up. I don't know why I have all these directories. Don't panic golf source. Okay, we've updated it, and I'm going to close some other ones up here. Don't save whatever that was. Don't save, and don't save whatever that is. Now let's see if we actually have, if we actually solve. Hey, where's the graphics now? Hey, this don't panic doesn't have graphics. The other one had graphics. That's no fun. They're gone. Ooh. So we're just going to do a minimal golfing on this one. I don't want to spend too long in the golf. It just, like I say, free points, because we know we can't get very far on the rankings with Rust. With the other one, we spent like all evening on, and we only got halfway through the rankings. We always got the top Rust, but not very much. And I don't even know if... Let's just do some quick... I don't even want to do this solving. Let's see where we would be. Let's just submit it and see how bad we are in the initial submission. My report. Loading computing score. How hard is it to compute? Just take my code size. 2,000. I wonder if we're dead last. Are we dead last? Probably not, but let's see. Maybe we are. We're pretty close, I bet. 27. Okay, this guy at the top here, you can guarantee they're using some kind of cheat. They've looked at the solutions, and they found some cheating way to do it, but we're far from that. We're like we're 1,000 times as much. No, 100 times as much. And where am I? Where am I? Can you tell me where we are? We have no rank. Evening. We're not dead last, which is kind of frightening. Alright, so let's clean it up a little bit. Keep that terminal open. We don't need print error ever. That's the first cleanup. We don't need these comments. We don't need any of these comments. And all of this parse input stuff becomes a lot simpler because we're just going to parse it all as the same size. Don't need any comments. Let's see how much that gets. Let's just see if I remove all the comments and all the unused code, how far up we get, because we're at rank 589 so far. And unfortunately, we can't see the graphics on this one, how we walked around the screen. It was kind of a fun one, but there is a more advanced one. We could do it in practice sometimes. We could actually do the more advanced one at some point. And so we've reduced the code size quite a bit. We'll just submit it without testing it. Okay, so we reduced that quite a bit. And let's see where we end up now. Nowhere. We're nowhere. Okay, we were at 5520. Oh, that's our new score. So we actually jumped up quite a bit. We moved up, like, 500 slots or something. And we're going to have to do a lot better than that. What are we competing with? Like, look at this. We have a problem that... Look how small these things are, down to 5,000. So let's check language Rust. How many people have done it in Rust? Lots of people. And their code's quite big. But these guys at the top are tiny. And I think we've seen him before. Boulay we've seen before. And Dwarfy is what beat us. Dwarfy's the guy who beat us last time. And he's at 4,000. Look how small you have to get to 4,000. Thanks for the sub, Ion Codes. Really appreciate it. So this Dwarfy is the guy that beat us last time. We were like 5 characters away and we have no idea what to do. So let's do some actual golfing and see how we get down a little bit. This parse input stuff is going to be rough to get rid of without losing the focus of the code. And first off is let's remove the stuff we don't use. We don't even use elevator positions, I think. Oh, we do actually use them. Okay. I know there's some stuff we don't hear, like total clones we don't use. Done. NB addition. Okay, sorry. And we don't even have to worry about the parsing because they're gone. We parsed it all already. Additional. Don't use them. Exit floor. It's questionable whether we need to do that. And yes, Winter Squirrel, we can definitely do that. I try to avoid that until I try to do all the structural stuff first, so that when we start compacting names, we don't get confused. So let's remove all the actual structural stuff and then compact the names, because that's the trivial step. But once you do that, you lose oversight of what's going on and you get really confused. Or at least I do. I mean, parse input's okay, but chances are we can get rid of all of those parse inputs. We can, for example, since these are all parsing the same type or close enough to it, we can probably just put one map and parse them all as I32. Okay, and what we have, NB floors. Okay, how do we do this? Well, we can trim them. I'm trying to think of what we can remove. I don't know if we can remove much of this because this reading kills us. We might already be at that point where we have to just do that. Let's do a cargo build on this. Right, so here's something here we could clean up, right? We have a whole bunch of if positions as print, 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 print. And So you could really do something like this. You could put this clone position here. Or clone position was 1. Or move this stuff up here as well. And stick this all in the same OR. That should help there. I think. Maybe, maybe not, because we have the clone position equals -1. Actually, we have to consider that first, so we can't quite do that so fast. So I got too excited there moving that. Okay. Let's just check to make sure this works first still, now that I screwed something up. Still working. Continue. You can get rid of all the continues like this, of course. That packs it down a little bit. Else if... Don't need to care about that. So I'm putting these tabs in now, but that's kind of silly. The other one too is, to reduce the code size a lot, we're just going to tweak to tabs as well. I prefer that anyways. And... Actually, put it down here. Else if... And let's get rid of the continues. So this is what I mean about structural changes coming first. We've reduced that, and let's still make sure it works. Uh-oh. Crap. What did I change? What went wrong? Bad. Well, screwed something up. Kind of sucks. We're going to have to do this a bit slowlier. Oops, not that. So we're going to pay more attention here. Well, first focus for the tab size. That should be fine. Okay, so what did I screw up here? What am I missing? Why can't I do this? I can do this here, can't I? This shouldn't be a problem here. So the last one's really slow. Okay, so actually moving this up fails. So clone floor. That's right. Because if the clone position is -1, you're not allowed to do anything. So we'll stick this in here. Else, if Visual Studio does some really wacky indentation on its own. I don't know why. So we can remove all the continues, which helps us save a few lines of code. In this OR now too, because we remove this -1 out, since these are both blocked, we can probably save it. But again, I'm going to be really conservative, because I can't run test case offline here. I'm going to run it in here a few times. I'll assume that's working. Or they're really slow. It loves my font, Iron Coat. How could you not love my font? I see where we are with submit, and I think the indentation was just weird right there when I was trying to indent a bunch of stuff at once. Okay, but leaderboard. So we have a better score now, and the code size is a lot smaller. Not a lot smaller, it's smaller. Oh, we got like virtually no difference. So right here, so our next step is 1400. That should be easy enough to do. We should be able to get in the 700 range, so let's do that. So we have this block here. Let's say or. I don't think it saves enough. Did that save anything? Did it actually update? Okay, it is. Print line block, print line weight. So it should be good. Direction, we have a direction. Do we actually use the direction? Yeah, okay, so we can probably look at this. Is there structural changes? Maybe. Let's see how far we can go. The only structural changes are right here. We can avoid parsing these inputs. Yeah, how do we do this again? Inputs. Let's say let's just call them all Q. Q equals inputs.map S. It's going to be a bit rough if we map them all to I32. We're going to have to parse them. We're going to have to like convert later, and I'm hoping this will be shorter. But in any case, we're just going to do s.trim.parse. I'm actually just going to get rid of the macro. I think I can just get rid of it, or maybe not. I don't know which one's shorter here. Actually, maybe this one's shorter. Parse input S I32 dot collect. Yeah, you definitely can. We can change that right now if you want, ID. Or actually, maybe you can't. That's an actual keyword. I don't know if you can. I've been having troubles with macros, but we're going to reduce the whole thing anyways. So we have Q there, and let's see if this still compiles. Inputs. Okay, so actually, no, this is a... So IT works? Trust you in that. Okay, so we should have never collected this in the first place. Just going to split this. We're not going to collect. We're going to directly map it. Got a bunch of errors. I better clear this first because I don't know what it is doing. No, it doesn't like IT. It gets really mad. So let's ignore that for a bit. And so whatever this is, it didn't like because input 0 is not an option. Okay, but this is actually becoming Q0 now. This will be Q1. And we're going to convert, first of all. Q2 is already the right type. And obviously you see the pattern. We'll just get rid of these name variables after a point. Q3 as usize. This is Q4 as isize. Which we probably don't need. Probably don't need isize. Going to I32. And this is Q7. Let's see if we can get away with this. What's wrong with that? Oh yeah, this is going to be a vec of I32. So let's see if that works. Then we can reduce that a bit more. Not that we screwed something up with the indexes. And this is what I mean about Winter Squirrel, about why we don't change it earlier, because now as we enter this type of thing, if I start typing Q0 everywhere instead of NB floors, then you've lost all chance of understanding this code. And let's reduce this a bit more for the, let's keep the obvious stuff first. And right here we can do il.split. Now we tried in the last one white space split, but it's actually slower. Or, I mean, it's more characters than this. Okay, and here we'll do il.clear, because that's even shorter than into. And this is just il. il. And we could do the same thing here again, whether it saves us. The thing is this up here is really long, so we don't know if it's actually going to save anything here. So remove that. We'll figure this out in a second. Let's clear up this stuff for it. ll clear. Was that close enough to get us to the next chunk? I think it might have been. So let's submit this and see how we do. Because that should get us far enough. I think we'll just do this one until 12, and then we'll just go on to the next one, because we're not going to get very far, but we can see how far we get by 12. And then we'll actually do the next challenge, where I think I actually have to write code, because I haven't actually solved it before. So we're still quite far down, but not that far. We're getting up right. So the next step is we have to shave off 300 characters. There should be enough, and we should be able easily to do that. Okay, and like I say, we start removing this stuff here. Let's get rid of this other output first. And so we don't really need these things here. Trim to we do need it because there's two inputs here. And again, you could call this P though. But we already have something we can reuse. Do we have a string? So this is really a string. It's kind of awful. This is not a string. We could actually parse that a different way. There is a way to do vectors here. I'm not clear on how to do it. It's going to be il split. No collect. We're just going to map it. S parse input si32 collect. I don't even know if we need to collect, or we can just call next twice, but then you have to unwrap twice, which is really kind of annoying. Because you have to unwrap twice, you have very little savings. And so this just becomes Q0 as usize, Q1 as isize. And I'm like really nervous about doing all this stuff, testing it. I think if it runs through once, we're okay. And we can really reduce this a lot. So elevator positions as Q0 as usize. And the elevator positions, we don't need to have isize. We're going to have it i32. Then we'll just be Q1. And then we'll make this an i32. Then we don't have to parse this. Then we can really just say Q1. So this goes away entirely. Elevator position, exit floor equals exit position. Exit position is now also i32, so we don't have to worry about that. Elevator positions, E position, it's going to be a, that should be fine. Alright, so E position, clone position is going to be, just parse these as i32. That was our old code. We had I. Width, where do we say width was here too? Get rid of this eye size. It's even getting smaller here. We already see that it's getting smaller. How much do we use exit floor? We just use it twice, so let's get rid of that too. Q3 is use size. We can put that down here safely. And this equals Q4. Clean that up a bit. Get rid of those. So this is still clear because it kind of parsing input. Definition of clear is becoming less clear. So let's do this. Do get add dot get commit. Almost still sane. Oh, and I added a bunch of files I didn't mean to. Wonderful. I forgot to copy my get ignore file. I'll clean that up afterwards before I push it. Make sure it's still working. Okay. So we have NB rounds. Where is that used? NB rounds is not used. NB elevators. We just do Q7 here. Not a nice way to program, is it? I is not used, so we don't need it to have as use size. We just do this. Q7 goes away. Width. Where is width used? So now we start doing the ugly stuff. Q1 minus 1. MB floors. Where is that used? It's only used in one place. So we can do Q0 as use size. Then our Q is reduced to virtually nothing. We got rid of all that setup stuff. And let's still make sure it works. Still doing good. So let's change elevator positions. Alt replace. We're going to change elevator positions to P. I don't even know which one I want to change this with P. P should be good. That gives us 10 down 82. So we're getting really into the mode of having really crappy names though. Clear reading. And we've looked in the last time, getting rid of this setup, there's just nothing you can do about this. You're done. You're out of luck. You're stuck with this code. We found no way to reduce such things. And Q3, Q4, we can get rid of this thing. Get here, read line. We might be a way to reduce this a bit here with this collecting. I'm not sure. But let's just return parse input first of all with, I don't know, let's just call this W. Just call it W to get it a bit smaller. And you notice we parse I32 in every single place. So we're going to get rid of the $T and just do I32. That's all we actually parse. And the code has just crossed that threshold where you can still really understand what it does to become just utter nonsense. And what we can do is, because P I don't know if it's going to save us anything here, but there's a vec of something here. I wonder if we can just put a vec of something here. This is shorter. Does it still work? It does. Interesting. So we got that reduced. So this can probably be reduced as well. Huh. I know to save I know to save 2 characters off one of our other tests now. Won't bring enough to bring it out. So where does it get? Let's make sure this works, and we're past the 1,000 threshold. I just submit that. We're good. Let's go to leaderboard. check out Rust again. And where does that actually put us? We're still computing. We should be up here now. We should be in the first screen of Rust, which is the main goal. Computing. There we are, 994. So we'll squeak in a bit further. And we should have no problem doing that. I'm just going to set the arbitrary limit at 12, and we just have to reduce all these names here now. There's no other I here, so we just do I, and let's say the floor is F. Get rid of all this extra spaces. Clone floor as F. We'll only have it in one place. Clone position, I'm just gonna, we already have a P. Let's just call this one C. I can probably pack all of this together. Oh, we're just missing a clone position. What else can we do? Clear. Direction, obviously, just make this D. The only thing with reducing all these names is you run the risk of having a overlap. And this is the part about golf I actually really don't like. I really think everything should be run through a standard program that does this step, and we don't have to do this step, because this step makes it unclear, and I don't think it shows any particular skill in the people doing the golfing, because anybody can run through this and reduce the names until there's nothing there. Oops. And the print lines we can't get rid of, though. We call it many times, though. We could make a shorter one, but that's harder. Let's go to the easy spaces. Do we have any names left now? We expand that. We might as well pack that onto one line. We do parse the input, and we call it enough times. Obviously, we can't inline it. We have this read line too, which we could probably inline. That's the danger of reducing the names of it. So we have read line called 3 times, so we could probably do the read line in here as well. And there are some ways to get macros expanding multiple ways, and this is the one thing I'd like to find out, is how do you actually get, you can put 2 different names for the macros. I don't know how to do it though. And so we're at 835. I want to test one thing. Let directions equal, and we just make this weight right. Will this actually save anything? No, because we only reuse weight once, so this is going to kill it. There's no value in redoing that. And we could invert this print line, so we have one print line and stick the condition inside. Just wait, you're gonna love this. Actually, wait, there only was block and wait. So that makes it shorter, and it's really ugly though, yeah? But that's one technique. You can save the print line. So we only have one print line. We have wait in here twice, but there's not much I can do about that. How can we get rid of that? Or... I use W 4 times. I use W here, on line 14 as well, and on 23 and 24. So I definitely use it a lot. Okay, I think I can do this even more, or C does not equal -1, and this. Let's see if that works. I think that was a reduction there. That saves us quite a bit. Uh-oh! I screwed something up. Shit. Just a second, I'll check with him. I'm going to reduce this, put this back to what I had, because I screwed it up. Let's check this works first, and then I'll go check what mort-ora-y is saying. Okay. I mean, in the loop instead of F. Yes, that's what you meant. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. That we should do that as well. Will that be any shorter though? I guess it will. Does W? It does just trim and parse, so we should be okay. 0. C is used twice, so we probably can't get away with it. D is used twice, and can't get away with that. Still check it some more. I still want to get away with this, rid of these two weights. But we can't, because this has to be in here. We cannot parse this if C is -1, so it's really, really hard to get this out without screwing up the code so badly. Oh, what's that? Okay. Just remind me somebody. The one thing I like to do is this read line. I think this is enough that we could reduce it. So we're at 810. We're at 810 with that. Now there is a way to write 2 rack rules in one. I just don't know how to do it. So I'm going to call this one R. And the macros in Rust are, you can't really just like write random macros as far as I can tell. You have to give them parameters and stuff, which seems really weird to me. So we're going to give it a name. Give it the name IL. It's an expression as well. And it becomes this. And $il unwrap. So I got this right. We're going to RIL. Does that still work? Uh-oh. Incorrect close delimiter. Okay, what we can actually do is because we call clear every time as well, we can actually how do you pack 2 statements into a macro? Anybody know how I can put the IL clear up here? Because we call it the same in all of them as well. And we don't need this unwrap. We completely ignore the result anyway. That drops us off a lot, so it's actually pretty good. Where are we? I said we stop, but I'm so close. If we're so close to the next threshold, let's go a bit further. Otherwise, if we're not close to the next one, then let's just forget about it. And by next threshold, they obviously mean for Rust, because there's no point competing with the other guys. And we're at 765. Oh, come on, we're right at the next threshold. We can do that. I don't know if we can get 600, but we can definitely get in front of this guy, 753. And come on, update it. Still waiting. So let's go for getting in front of ARAM. And I'm not going to pack the code to nothing first, because I still think there's better changes we can do. So I'm going to leave that for a future time, though. But I think we can move up 4 spaces because that's a trivial amount of stuff to get rid of. And how do we actually do that? This macro thing, I'd really like to know how you get rid of 2 macros, or if anybody knows how to pack multiple statements into a macro. That'd be another one. How do we get statements into a macro? Like this IL clear, we could get rid of that. IL clear would kill it for us right away. It's solve 5, split, collect, and which of these syntaxes is shorter? I think this is shorter here when we collect this way. So we're at 765. 762, so that saves 3. So I can do this then. I can do like this. And these are statements then. Let's find out. Not found in this scope. Okay, yeah, obviously. Alright, I think I got that. The type of this value must be known in the context. Oh, why? Why do I need to know the type? That's kind of shitty. I have to know the type there. Is that a legitimate error, or... Do you know this error? Why does it have to know the type here of the IL? Why does it not know it? It's line 8. It doesn't know it. Is it because of here? I shouldn't have to do this though, right? Or is it just doesn't know? Okay, this is weird. And that's really weird. Because I stick that in there, its typing is no longer able to figure out what the stuff is. And having to add string here might defeat the purpose of that, because... Oh, we're still shorter, 759. Do you have to put semicolons when they're actual brace things? You do. Okay. Which must be used, doesn't have to be used. I'm ignoring it. Go away. Could you imagine if they enforced we had to use the return values? Then we'd definitely lose some of these golf things. 759. Okay, I have to get a few more characters out, and we should be good. Before I just remove like indentation. Pvec, pvec, vec, vec, vec. So I think these are shorter, if this works. Saved as one more character. Q, we used Q everywhere, so I can't reuse Q. Trim, collect, RI, collect, let. Trim, trim, trim to string, trim to string, trim, trim. The split map is used twice, but it's not used enough. The added characters of the macro are probably going to make it not worth it to get rid of it. Okay, I think we're pretty close to done here. There's nothing obvious to switch. And I said I don't want to work too long on this, so let's just play the test cases again. And if it's a few characters, I'll remove just enough indentation, just so we can get to that first block. 757 will take us to... Okay, so if I shave off, I'm not going to get 100, so 100 is going to require lots of work. So I'm not going to ruin the code too much, so all I really have to do is shave off 5 or 6 characters, and we're there. So let's get rid of it. There's 1, 2, and I'm trying to think of how much more I want to get rid of. $749 should be enough. And then when we come back, if they decide to like squish in a little bit more, we'll be better. But then we can keep the code still in a state where we can do the other reductions if we want in a second or another time. Alright, we should be good. And that'll give us, I'm just trying to get some free points in their system. And then we'll actually go do the other one where we actually have to solve some code. And I'll take a short break in between, like 3 minutes, and then I'll be right back. Just want to see where we are. So 749, that puts us at the top of the 700 bunch. I think with some work we can get up to where Dwarfy is. These guys up here, as Oyevishastal said yesterday, some of these guys, we're not sure. He saw people cheat before by calling system functions, like just calling one command in Rust, system.command, and just do it in another language, like Bash or something. But we don't think these guys here in the 500 range are probably cheating, but that's enough for this one. Alright, thanks Ion Codes. We'll see you again. I'll be on again tomorrow night, hopefully. We'll see you then, hopefully. And so we have this, we submitted it, and we're done. Sorry, I screwed that up. I already submitted it. So let's commit this thing, git status. Alright. cp ... what do we want? The great dispatch.gitignore. Where is it? Why is there no gitignore there? Oh, so that's why. cp git status. Git rm fr target. Git add.gitignore. Status. Git commit. More. I love doing this stuff, huh? Wonderful. And I'm going to squish this rebase-i head because I don't want to commit binaries into the thing. Squish. Why is this not... Shit, what program did this start? This is not VIM. Nano. Oh man, who starts Nano? Nobody likes Nano. Nobody wants to use Nano. Why on earth has Visual Studio somehow started Nano here? How do I save? I mean, like, look at the help. Cut text, index. Exiting and saving is what I want. Control X. Yes. Control X. Okay, get K. Don't panic. Okay, the commit looks sane, so we don't have the binaries in there. And I don't have anywhere to push this yet. I'm not pushing it online. I'm not supposed to do these ones yet. And that's there. What do we have? No! Go away! Alright, we'll just go back now. We're at the leaderboard, and we've lost the changes. That's fine. Okay, and the next one we want to do is... We'll get some points for that, and I think the reason I wanted the points is we go here. If we look at my mentor level, we're almost at the master level. So just Code Golf gives you very few points at the rank we're doing, but that should push us up into the master level, just so we can say, hey, we're masters, and that'll be fun, just for no other reason to say it's fun to be a master. And so the next one we want to do is temperatures. Yeah, Dad and Beard, I know that. I'm just... The issue is that because I never use Visual Code very much, or Visual Studio, I've never configured Git, so I don't know what configuration it's using here. I mainly use Git on my work machine, and that's a separate machine. And on this machine here, all of my work in Leaf, basically all my own projects tend to be bizarre, and the ones that do use Git seem to be using a different path for the config. I don't know why. So Visual Studio is probably somehow at a different path, and I got to figure out why that is. And because I think I don't, I mean, Vim obviously. For the Git stuff, I always use Vim. I launching Emacs is annoying too, but it's mainly just here, and we fix it. So So okay, the next one we want to do is temperatures. And I should also say on my own code, I almost virtually never rebase. It was just there because I had the binaries. I wanted to get rid of them before I push somewhere. And so this is the temperatures one, and I think this is based on temperatures. Here we go, training temperatures. And we've never solved this one before. It's supposedly pretty... Oh, we did. Oh, we did solve it, so we can golf this one right away as well. We're going to golf this one through as well. This is like one of the first problems we did. I've forgotten it. About a month ago. We haven't even been on this long, have we? Wow. Okay. Like I said, I'm going to take a very short break, and I'll be right back. Let me get a half second here to take a break.